Perfect for tea time, for easy breakfast, and for freezing. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make overnight English muffins with einkorn flour. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Dee. I am the author of the blog Kindling Wild, where I share things for homemakers and homeschool moms alike. If you've ever tried making sourdough and you were not a complete genius right away and didn't make the absolute perfect loaf, this recipe is what you needed. When I give people sourdough starter, I often recommend that they try a recipe like this that's not quite as meticulous as bread. I'm just going to explain my step-by-step that I'm going through here. So this is the next morning. So the night before, I mixed up all the ingredients and I left it to ferment overnight. I forgot to put it in the fridge, and so it's actually a little bit over fermented. If you're a sourdough expert, you might be able to see the texture of my dough is kind of a little bit, I don't know, sloppy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that doesn't matter. Because the cool thing about this recipe is that it really doesn't matter for the recipe. They turn out exactly the same, even with slightly sloppy dough. So you get to be forgetful if you need to. I have the recipe for this on my blog, kindlingwild.com, and I will link it in the description if you want to follow along. So basically what I'm doing is the next day, by the time I'm getting to it, I am just flouring the surface. I use einkorn flour because that's easier to digest, but you can use regular flour if you want. I'm going to roll them out, and then I'm going to just cut them out. I use a wide mouth mason jar. The English muffins are a little bit on the small side in diameter with a wide mouth mason jar, but I'm a bit of a minimalist, so I don't actually care enough to have a larger cutter. You can order larger cutters and keep them if that's something that you care to do, if you're going to be making a recipe like this on the regular. You can see that they cut out just lovely. And what you actually do after they cut out is you give them a little bit of a rise time. So once I get these all on the cutting board, I'm just going to let them sit for a little while. In the background, my kids are listening to their Yoda player, which is just an absolute genius contraption. If you have kids who like audio content, but you want them screen-free and safe, definitely check that out. I will leave a link in the description to my affiliate link. One of the things I really love about this recipe is that if your brain isn't working super well, I'm not sure if I'm the only person that happens to, but I often find that if I'm really tired or we have a lot going on, I might mess up on some recipes, but this is not a recipe that I can mess up on. I'm not sure. They've never not turned out. And I do things wrong all the time in the kitchen. I'm the kind of person who, if I'm pregnant especially, I'll forget eggs in my muffins or something like that. I'll just completely forget. So these always turn out really well. They're just not a very particular kind of thing. Now, if you like them dusted with cornmeal, you would be doing that at this stage, but I am trying to avoid corn, so I don't do that, and they're totally fine without it. While they sit for a little while under that tea towel, I'm just going to take my toddler outside and I'm going to try to find some fresh flowers, but it's a little late in the season here, so let's see what we can find. I just want to talk to you guys for a minute, just like full on. I haven't really decided what kind of videos I actually make. I'm just trying things out, you know, like throw spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks. Making sure that I don't let perfectionism take over, which you guys can probably tell. Welcome to my mess, welcome to my chaos. But I wanted to just like have a little face-to-face, a little chit-chat. It's about the baking, but it's also about our emotional lives as mothers. I think when we make sourdough, when we make a meal plan, when we make a plan for our homeschool, whatever it is, we have an ideal in mind. We have a plan, and then real life happens, and it almost never meets the ideal. Now, sometimes it's better than you could have imagined, right? I mean, sometimes things are very rewarding, but the day-to-day is often not that way. Like, I want to make a bouquet, but I only have like one type of flower left growing in my yard right now. I wanted to make these for breakfast, and I could not function this morning because my toddler is teething, and I've like barely gotten any sleep for weeks. So I'm making them for lunch. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think we just need to roll a little bit with the punches as mothers, and that's just what I wanted to share in this video. It's like, this is not a place for like perfect aesthetic only. This is just a place where we have one vase we like that's not broken. We have, you know, simple coffee with cream and maple syrup, a really basic life, and we take the beauty and the joy and the peace and the freedom that comes from knowing that we're loved by God, and we just pour out as much love that we can to our families and do things as diligently as we can, and we fail every day. The next step in your English muffins is to take a dry or almost dry pan. Here I have my cast iron. It's got a bit of oil in it, but not so much that they're gonna fry. And I don't add any more during the process. I just let them go. So you're toasting them on either side, essentially. Finishing up cooking in the middle, you can do two ways. Sometimes they're just cooked in the middle when you've toasted them on either side, and you can just tell that they're done. But if they do need a little bit more time, either throw a lid on the pan, or sometimes I turn on a low oven to finish them off in a low oven. Especially if you're making a large quantity, it's easier to just finish them off in the oven. So you can see how nice and toasty they are on either side, and they're completely done now. These make amazing egg McMuffins. They're really good with butter and jam. I hope that you enjoy them. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thank you.